What's up, guys? Pokeheat here. You guys are about to watch me open my first booster box of Obsidian Flames. This was right after the ETBs, but this one was pretty awesome. So listen to this crazy story about the case of Shanann Watts and her family. Enjoy the cards, enjoy the story, listen to how crazy it is, and let's get it. All right, guys, so in telling this story, I got this from watching documentaries during the pandemic, unfortunately. So the first one is on Netflix, and it's called American Murder, the Shanann Watts story, I believe. And it is wild. They show you police footage, actual interviews, actual text messages between Shanann and her murderer, Chris Watts, and just kind of how things escalated and got to this point and how this case was solved. So first off, when it opens up, this documentary in particular, it shows us who Shanann was, which I love. I want to know who the victims were because they're the important ones here. So Shanann was a mother of two. She had lupus. She was a self-motivator. She was making money. She was a mama. She was amazing. She was documenting everything that she was going through on social media. And then we meet the two kids, Cece and Bella. They are adorable. Just beautiful family. And you think it's like this picture perfect thing. And then you start seeing text messages where Shanann's like talking to her friends and saying that I feel like something's wrong. He doesn't want to touch me. He doesn't kiss me. He seems disconnected. Just everything seems wrong. And she had just told this man that they were going to have another kid. And they showed the video because she posted it online on social media where she's wearing a shirt that says like, we did it again, and has the pregnancy test. My man was not happy, and I get it. I guess he was scared financially. I guess he was already doing something he wasn't supposed to that I'll reveal in just a minute.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really?
That's awesome. So pink means...
That's just the test.
I know. It just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome.
So he's not happy. Then cut to she goes away to her family to visit, and during that time, and she's pregnant at this point, okay? She goes to visit for her family. They're gone for 5 weeks. She takes the kids. Apparently, Chris Watts, her husband, was not texting her, not contacting her, not calling her, nothing, right? And then he was supposed to fly out and meet them and then spend a week with them or whatever the case may be. When he got there, after not seeing his family for 5 weeks, he doesn't kiss his wife, he doesn't hug her, he doesn't love on her, nothing. Like, he does nothing. None of these things, to the point where Shanann was so upset. She asked him straight up, like, are you cheating on me, bro? Like, what is going on? He denies it. They have an argument. They go back to real life. And then Shanann goes on a business trip. So when the documentary starts, we start out with the best friend of Shanann, Nicole. Nicole has been texting Shanann all day. Nicole dropped Shanann off the night before because they were on a work trip together, and she dropped her off at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, okay? At this point, Nicole was trying to get a hold of Shanann because she had a doctor's appointment for the baby. So she wanted to know what happened, how's it going. Now, Shanann lives her life on her phone. She works via her phone, and she also documents everything, and she constantly has her phone on her, people, like everybody nowadays, right? Nicole can't get a hold of her, and that's her best friend, right? So Nicole can't get a hold of her, so she goes to the house and sees that Shanann's car is there. No one's answering the door. She can't get a hold of her, like nothing. So she can't go get a hold of Chris because Chris is at work, whatever. So she gets a hold of Shanann's mom and dad, who are like telling them, like, we give you permission to go in the house, to police, call the police. The police come, and we see all this on the body cam footage. It's wild. So the police get there. They get a hold of Chris. Chris comes. Now, as Chris is coming, he's texting Shanann, where are you? Is everything okay? Where's the kids? Please be home. I'm on my way home. Please be home when I get there. They get there. They look around. Now, Chris looks pale. My man looks pale, nervous. He's barely able to talk. Okay, again, guys, I do this for a living where I look at behaviors of people and things like that. And I get not everybody reacts the same way in a crazy situation. But this guy, to me, looked like something was not right. Body language, the way he was acting, just something wasn't right. He looked like he was going to pass out. And it wasn't because his wife was missing, and so were his 2 daughters. His pregnant wife, mind you. So the cops are asking questions, and he's like mulling around. They go upstairs. They see that the bed sheets are missing from their bed, and there's nothing up there. Nicole is freaking out. The best friend is freaking out, how I kind of wish that Chris was. But again, you never know how someone's going to react. She's looking around. She's looking for clues. Chris is just like walking back and forth like, I don't know, right? Nicole's like, oh my God, here's her purse. Oh my God, her phone's in here. Oh my God, her pills are in here. So Shanann has to take pills because she has lupus and she's pregnant. So Nicole, the best friend, is freaking out, right? Chris is still just like, answering questions. He's being cooperative, whatever. So then the police are like, let's go to the neighbor's house. The neighbor came over and said, hey, I have video. We can look to see when Shanann might have left. It's facing towards Chris's property, which is the driveway in front of the house. So Chris goes over there with them to watch this video. Clearly, now I told you the whole time, Chris was quiet. He didn't say anything. He was just kind of like, the whole time. We get over to the neighbors, and the neighbor is saying what he has video of. And he's like, oh yeah, I have video of him leaving in his truck at 5 o'clock in the morning. Chris starts freaking out. He is standing in front of the TV, and now he is rambling, looking paler than before somehow, sweaty somehow, rambling on and on and on and on and on. And every time the cop's just trying to watch the video, he's just rambling on and on and on. And the video is that Chris backed up his truck, and now he's trying to explain the video. Oh yeah, I backed up my truck because I had some work supplies in there, and I needed to put this in there, and rambling. And you can see the neighbors like watching, and this is all on body cam. The neighbor's kind of watching and is like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is weird. Rambling on. And then they watch the video, and it was Chris backed up, so you can't see the back of his truck. He's clearly loading the truck. And then he leaves. So the cop is like, hey, I'm going to stay here and get some information. You can go back to the house. I'll be right there. As soon as Chris leaves, the neighbor looks at the cop and goes, he's acting weird. He is a quiet guy. He never talks like this. I've never seen him back his truck up. I don't understand why he's acting like that, but that is just weird. That's weird. And the cop defends him and is like, oh, his family's missing. How would you feel? Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. So, obviously, suspect number 1 is Chris Watts. Now, there is this video of him talking to the news where he's asking for his family to come back. Here it is.
Work early that morning, like 5:15, 5:30. So, like, she barely got into bed pretty much.
Did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But I just want them back. If they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to come forward. I need to see everybody. Again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring it back.
All right, so you saw that video, right? My man, he didn't know what to say in that moment because he clearly knew what happened to his family and that they weren't out there, and he was just trying to say what he thought was best. He is holding himself so tight. Now, when someone holds themselves like that, I'm sorry, that is a closed position. That is them holding back information. That is them holding themselves because they do not want to say that they know the truth. He knew the truth, okay? So now we cut to, he is now in an interrogation room with 2 police officers. They're giving him a polygraph test. I do not agree with polygraphs because I think it's junk science. But anyway, they're doing it on him, and it kind of tests your levels to see how your heart rate is, your breathing, all that stuff. So while they're asking questions, they want to see how your breathing and your heart rate is going. During this test that's being administered, the detective says, as he's asking him questions about his wife and kids, says, I'm sorry, I need you to breathe regular because right now you're all over the place. He starts rambling and says that sometimes he doesn't think he's breathing or he's breathing too much. Whatever, Chris, shut the hell up. Anyway, does the test. They leave him. They come back and say, hey, buddy, you failed. And he's like, I told you everything. So they are like, hey, we need the truth. What happened to your family? And then the detective does something that I just don't like. I don't think you should ever feed somebody a story. And she says, basically, did Shanann try to do something to the girls and then you hurt Shanann? And then, boom, like a light bulb, Chris is like, let me talk to my dad. Can I talk to my dad? So they bring the dad in. The dad asks what happened and is like, did Shanann do something to the girls? Because clearly the police said that to him. Like, find out. He wants to know. And this is all recorded, like, whatever. And he's like, yeah. And he's whispering, like, yeah. I don't want to say anything bad about Shanann. Bro, shut the hell up. You already are. You're saying that this woman who was taking care of her children and pregnant decided she was going to kill her children because you guys had an argument? Bro, get out of here. Anyway, that really pissed me off. So he kind of runs with that, and then they ask him, like, we need to know where the bodies are. So he tells them that he buried Shanann at a work site. He's an oil guy, rigger guy, or whatever the hell. And at one of their sites, he buried Shanann in a shallow grave where she was wrapped in her sheets. And I'm sorry, this is a trigger warning because some of this information was just, I cried. I'm just going to be serious with you guys. I cried. So Shanann's in a shallow grave, buried with her unborn child. And then they ask where Celeste and Bella are. And he says that he put them in 2 oil drums that are on the property and that they are clearly dead. So they go out there, they get the bodies, they do all that. And obviously they still don't get the whole story of what exactly happened. And he tries to push off this story of Shanann tried to kill the girls, or she killed the girls. And then when I saw what she did, I killed her. I think he thought that was going to save him, that if he said, I did this, but there was no evidence that Shanann did any of that. Okay. And how dare he? So anyway, he gets sentenced to, I believe, 5 consecutive life sentences. He also got charged for, I believe, terminating a pregnancy, and then the death of his children where he killed them because they were both under 12 years old. I think Bella was like 5, or one was 3 and one was 5 or something like that. They were babies, guys. So after he gets sentenced and he gets put in jail. Now, first off, the motive that they think, because he never said it, he was actually having an affair the whole time. And kind of what really broke this is that the woman who he was having an affair with, because he said to her, oh, I'm getting a divorce. I'm not going to be with my wife anymore. We have 2 kids, blah, blah, blah. She didn't even know they had a baby on the way. She finds out from the news. So she goes to police and says, I think it's just really weird, like whatever. And then we see, like, in the documentary, all these text messages pop up between them and video of this lady like, oh, Chris, I love you so much, thank you so much, whatever. He lied to her, apparently, said all this stuff, and clearly he wanted to annihilate his family because he thought that was the only way to then be with this girl. Ew, bro, what is wrong with you? Just leave. Why do you have to kill people? Like, what is wrong with you? So he did all this. Now, people kind of peg her as the hero because she went to the cops to really raise the flag on him, even though I think it was already there, to say, like, he never told me all this. I found out from the news that his wife was pregnant and they're missing. There's just something that doesn't sound right. But let me tell you guys, like, I don't know about her because it comes out not in this documentary series, through side research and other things that I've heard. He called her that that night, like at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they had a whole conversation, like right after he just killed his wife and children. And apparently under a pseudonym, she's been contacting him and writing him in jail. Mind you, my man apparently has been writing several different women who think that he's hot and misunderstood. Ew, what is wrong with you? He killed his whole family, you sickos. Anyway, so there's that whole aspect of it. So now that he's convicted and everything, he writes a letter to somebody that ended up writing a book about the letters from him, because they wanted to know why he did this, like, and then what actually happened to Celeste and Bella. So again, trigger warning for this information. So he writes a letter and basically describes that before Shanann, so Shanann got home that night around 2 o'clock in the morning or so. She gets in bed. They didn't have an argument just yet. He apparently went to Celeste and Bella's room and tried to smother them with a pillow. But when that didn't work, he was like, whatever, and went back to the room, and him and Shanann got into an argument. And then that's when he strangled her, put her on the floor. Now he was like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. He knew what he was doing. He's just trying to make a defense for himself. Anyway, strangles her, wraps her up in a sheet. He says that Celeste woke up, came to the door, and was like, what's wrong with mommy? But he said she was a smart girl. She knew what was going on. She started to cry. He dragged her body down the stairs, puts her in the back of the truck that he backed up, that's what the neighbor saw, and then proceeds to put Bella and Celeste in the back of the truck. And the whole time, clearly they're highly upset, and he says that they had bruises on their face from when he was trying to smother them, which is horrific. So he brings them to the site. He goes in the back seat. He takes, I believe, Bella first. He smothers her and kills her. Or Celeste first, comes back. I think it was the older one. And then he comes back, and the younger one was asking where she was, and she was crying, and then he murders her. He then takes his 2 babies, and he dumps them in these oil drums without any regard at all. Then goes and takes Shanann's body and buries it in a shallow grave and calls his girlfriend, and then goes to work and acts like nothing happens, and then goes on the news and decides to tell everybody he wants his family back. He doesn't know where they are. He doesn't know anything, blah, blah, blah. Then he gets interrogated and tells them that Shanann did something. Guys, he is a piece of garbage. This is a family annihilator who I don't understand why. I mean, sure, maybe Shanann was like, oh, so you have been cheating on me. I'm going to keep the kids from you, whatever. You don't kill your then wife and kids, an unborn child. This story just blows my mind. Like, I really encourage you guys to watch the documentary on it if you find this stuff interesting, because we actually get to see footage, and it's wild to see how this man was acting and just really trying to pass off he didn't do anything, he didn't know anything. It's just wild to me. But the more important part of it was that you get to see Shanann and her life. Now, Shanann, like I said, battled lupus. She was taking care of 2 children, pregnant with a baby on the way. She started foundations and did all these things with lupus, and she was putting her story out there on social media to give people hope. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. She seemed to be an amazing human being, and I feel so bad for the family. You get to see some of them too in there, and they're just distraught. Clearly they were like a close-knit family, and they were just, I mean, you took these people's daughter and then grandchildren away because you wanted to be with your girlfriend. You didn't want a family anymore. Then let her leave and take the kids. Bro, I will die on this hill. But come to find out that Chris in jail has found Jesus. He knows what he's done. He knows he's being punished. But on a daily basis, my man does not have any problem writing several women back all day long and receiving pictures from them. That's disgusting. And they say, oh, he's just misunderstood. He just killed his family. I don't know. Like, are you guys kidding me? Is the world all right? Are y'all all right? Can someone explain to me? I will never understand, and I think it's absolutely disgusting. Like, he admitted it. I'd understand if he was, like, fighting and was like, oh, I was an intruder or whatever the hell. But he led the police to the bodies. He confessed. And then later on, when he's like, well, I guess I'm never getting out of jail, let me tell the whole story, because, like, the whole thing with the kids, he didn't want to say, and for obvious reasons. I mean, in jail, I'm pretty sure he would have got murdered for that. He's apparently in lockdown all day long. He's in his cell for 23 hours a day, gets let out for an hour, whatever. I think an hour is too much. Anyway, and he was sent to a different state. So this happened in Colorado. I forget where he is now, but whatever. He was sent to another state because it was such a high profile case, and they thought his safety was at risk. Good. I mean, I just think it's wild. It is a heart-wrenching story, but I encourage it because, like I said, it gives you a sense of who Shanann was, and you see beautiful footage of the two girls. Like, it breaks my heart. Terrible story, super sad. But at the end of the day, he's in jail where he belongs. So, yeah. So, guys, these are the hits from this box. Tell me what you guys think of the story. Have you heard of it before? Like I said, it was a high-profile case in Colorado, I believe, in 2018. It was pretty crazy. Let me know what you guys think of that. Let me know what you guys think of Obsidian Flames, the Charizard set, where everyone and their mom pulling a Charizard. Even though I've seen some people who have not pulled a single Charizard, and I am absolutely in shock that they haven't. Because, I mean, look at this box. It's wild. I think it's wild. But yeah, I wish all the Charizards upon you guys. The average hits I was getting out of these boxes were anywhere from 12 to 15 hits. Or 14. I'm sorry, 14. I don't think I hit 15. I think it was 14. There's tons of EXs in here. Not too happy about the Poppy is super cool. Stop calling that a waifu, you sickos. So yeah, don't call Poppy a waifu. It's weird. Alright, so let's see what we got. We got Palma, Charizard EX, which is pretty dope. Poppy looking adorable. LeChunk looking so happy. The Vespa Queen looks pretty cool. She's not really a fave of mine, so whatever. The weird flower. The awesome Gloom, I love it. Houndoom is awesome. I feel indifferent, but I kind of like it. It looks cool up close, not gonna lie. Geeta, she's a top fave for me. And that's the box, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.